Of the Consolidated Commission on Utilities. It's a work session for GPA, and for the record, those present are myself, Commissioner Lintaco, Commissioner Santos, and Commissioner Martinez. Commissioner Sanchez is excused. John, the floor is yours.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, every May we provide a recommendation to the PUC.
Okay.
As required, only we and of course, typically set for July 1st. The next period is for, it's typically set in July for the period August through January.
Yeah, January 3rd.
However, I think after today's session, that you will see that adjustments have to be made earlier than that and stuff. But so let me start. There's only two items I have today, Mr. Chair. One is the LEAC, and the second one is just giving the Commission an update on our current capacity situation. No? Okay. So again, the LEAC could be seen. The prices just since January through April, and of course continuing through in May, is almost a 90-degree upward movement in pricing. It's increased by about 60%. And again, this is not just for us, but this is global world event. Part, of course, by what I'm seeing is a higher demand now that's coming out, the war coming out of the pandemic, and then, of course, coupled with the Ukraine war and the situation of trying to not buy Russian oil, if you will. No? So again, we're tied into world events when it comes to fuel oil, and so here's our reality here in Guam. No, that again, in January, our cost of R4 and all of that is about $79, and now it's about $127 a barrel. No, next, let's talk about diesel. Diesel was, again, substantially even more, from $95 a barrel now to $150 a barrel as of April. Next. Again, here's it's always been an upward trend since even during the pandemic period. So diesel now is even up to $166 a barrel just in 1 month, from 150 to 166. Next. The forward pricing for the protocol within the LEAC that we have with the PUC looks at forward pricing to try to address changes in fuel pricing. So this is the typical 5-day average that we're looking at. Again, we utilize it for this because, again, this is what the PUC required from us. So again, as you can see, it is high, but it seems they kind of trend a little lower towards the last part of the year. But again, as we could see, this changes. You know, no one really has a 100% accurate crystal ball, no? But again, we have to have some kind of a gauge to be able to set our projections. Otherwise, we end up with, again, even a worse type of situation. Next. It's almost coming to a perfect storm this summer because, again, not only is the world events high prices, it's also the time of I'll show you in the next slide, it's the time of the year where consumption of energy naturally increases for everybody because during the summer months, the temperatures are higher, there's less wind, the trade winds are gone, and so what happens with that? The air conditioning loading automatically increases even if you do not change anything in your home. So therefore, again, so with increased LEAC pricing, there's also increased consumption, therefore it all translates to a higher and higher bill for the consumer. No? However, this summer we also have some commitments that we have to achieve, which is the consent decree. This summer, we're doing the conversion for PD 8 and 9, and the conversion to ultra-low sulfur diesel actually started May 1st, and on PD number 8, and it came back on the line, instead of the 22nd, actually came back on the line a day yesterday or the day before yesterday. So that's good news, but again, the conversion starts. It will go down again in June and to the middle of July for the final conversion. Right now, it's still burning RFO. The initial stage is to take all the machinery in places so that they can install the scrubber, if you will, for the equipment, no? So now they're doing that. So June 22nd or so to July 14, that unit again will go down, and this time, once it comes up on July 14, you will be burning ultra-low sulfur diesel. And that's for PD number 8. The PD number 9 will do the entire conversion with one shutdown. Instead of 3-week shutdown, we're going to do about a 4 to 5 week shutdown, so that they just go through the entire work, because we need to meet the U.S. EPA deadline of July 31st. So we shut it down by July 15 or that period of time, and not bring it back until it starts burning ultra-low sulfur diesel. Then technically we comply with the requirement of we must be burning ultra-low sulfur diesel at the PD power plant, at the PD 8 and 9 power plant by July 31st, 2022. So again, that's the plan here. By early September, it'll be an ultra-low sulfur diesel. In the other side of the coin, Cabras 1 and 2, to comply with the air regulations of 2023, must be on 0.2% sulfur residual fuel oil. As I have shown the Commission, we're transitioning from 3 fuel sources, different types. We're going to 5, and then now start heading down again now to 2, eventually to 1 when the new Okudu power plant goes on the line. So for your information, we have stopped deliveries now of high sulfur fuel oil. We have to burn out whatever's in the tanks, no? Because again, we only have this period of time between now and the end of the year to do this. So the only delivery we're getting now is low sulfur, 1.19%, and that will continue up to about September. Then we'll have enough in the tanks. We'll be bringing in the 0.2%. We're going to clean the high sulfur tanks out, clean it, put the 0.2 in there, so that it'll be ready for us to burn in December. No? So again, this conversion continues. One good news, the commissioning of the KEPCO, the here in Pagat Marble area, the 60 megawatt. This has been undergoing testing. In fact, this morning it was up to 20 megawatts. Yesterday it was up to 35 megawatts testing during that period. So it's undergoing testing between now, May, and June 18. So the commissioning full board and the contractual arrangement is going to begin around June 18. The good news is that's 8.5 cents per kilowatt energy. Their minimum production is 141 million per year kilowatt as required by the contract. That's equivalent to $52 a barrel energy. No? So as you can see, that's going to at least reduce the LEAG, or at least get into the LEAG mix at about $1.5 million less than what we're paying today for oil. No? The solar farm generates enough energy, the equivalent to serve 14,000 residential customers. That's how big it is. That's how efficient it is, and that's all part of our plan to get to low LEAC and more renewables by the beginning to 25% by the beginning of 2025. Next. Good. Again, currently, as you can see, here's our currently at 20.2095 cents per kilowatt hour, coupled with our base rate. We're putting out it's costing the consumer today about 30 cents a kilowatt hour. No? Next. As you could note, though, we have not increased our base rate. The money that we use for labor, capital investment, for paying our debt, that has not increased since 2013. Everything all the fluctuations has been the result of fuel oil adjustment in the world. Now, which, again, that's our goal, is to try and minimize that interdependency. No, I mean, here's a consolation for all it's worth. No, we're not the only ones in this particular scenario, and our rate is lower than anyone in the Pacific. No, here are 30 cents. Look at Hawaii; they're all in the 40-some cents a kilowatt hour. Virgin Islands also, and then you start some of the other islands are up to 50 cents a kilowatt hour. So again, we're heading now into the 30s because of this world event. But again, if you look around all the Pacific Rim, we're still substantially actually cheaper than energy than theirs. No, next. And John will help me as we go along here. If we don't do anything at all, we keep the 29 cents. Our under recovery will go from a targeted $20 million under recovery to $34 million by July 31st. Now, why is that become a huge issue? Because we have to pay the fuel. We have to buy the fuel oil. As I will show you, it's no longer 20 million for a shipment of fuel oil tanker. Now you're in the 30 plus million per tanker. So we have to make sure we collect, make sure we have the cash flow to pay for the fuel oil. So therefore, we have to look at our cash scenario and then make the necessary adjustment to make sure that we don't get into the scenario where we can buy fuel. No? Next. So, what is it looking like? To get to, and here's what you're familiar with, a scenario for 50% under recovery, and scenario where we're trying at this point in time at least set to get to a 20 million under recovery, begin reversing the trend. And we're giving you a scenario to go to a full recovery, meaning recover all the cash that we have forwarded. No. So 20.009. This is the status quo. To get to a 50% under recovery, which is $35 million, right? Between now and July 31st, we need to raise the rate to 0.267 cents a kilowatt hour. However, as you can see, our target really is 20, not 35. The 35 is really is not close to unmanageable at this time, right? So the typical scenario, when you go 20 million under recovery, we would need to raise it to 0.2919. And that's to bring us back at the end of this period, January 31st next year, to 20 million under recovery, which has always been our more recent goal. No? Now, to get to full recovery, we need to raise it to 32.46 cents a kilowatt hour. And as you can see here, you're looking at 50% under recovery is about a 39% increase on the LEAC and a 27% increase on the current power bill. And again, to get to 100, you're up to 55% and about 38% on the total bill. Oh, huge numbers, right? Next. Here's the cash flow scenario. Again, as what's showing, our cash flow has been going down from September from 79 million now down to 57, and actually there was another withdrawal of 9 million. So this 57 is now about 48. So when you look ahead, what we have to pay coming up, the insurance premium, principal and bond, the capital projects are already committed. We have about 32 million so and so for cash flow scenario, right? To handle fuel, because again, we pay for the fuel up front and then we recover it from the customer. So therefore, you have to have that cash up front, no? So as you can see, we're already now matching up. We're going to be negative at some point. Next. Again, as I mentioned earlier, part of the storm is really perfect storm scenario is that between May and October, as you can see here, this is the peak demand of the system. It's the high consumption period for our customers, no? And so again, that's not going to change. That's a normal reality of the system. So again, the combination of these two will have substantial impact on the customer's bills. No? And next. So the question is there light at the end of the tunnel? No? How are we going to get through this? Well, as we have been saying for years, and as we have been pursuing the new power plant and more renewables, if our target, if we had what the system we projected to have in 2024, when we complete the new power plant and those renewables, for the scenario of the fuel prices today, the LEAC that you're seeing of about 29 to 32 cents will be 16 to 17 cents at the high fuel prices. It's also saying that if prices go back to normal, it's just like as we predicted of about 11 cents a kilowatt hour. And again, that now shows you the range for this type of fuel pricing over $100 to $150 a barrel. When we get to the new power plant and the renewables, 17 cents on the top end, which is what we want. And again, it's a sustainable, lower cost. So again, that's why it's so important to get the new plan and get the renewables done. And it's happening, no? We're getting there. But you know, it's a very dire situation today. But again, I wanted to also provide that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and we are working on that. No? So next. Yeah. Sure.
On the insurance proceeds, which of course came from the advertising, what is the definition of the restriction?
The only restriction we have on the
Use of the funds.
the use of the funds, yeah.
Yes.
Our intention is that we can only use it for infrastructure. So we've been using it to do our pipelines, also do the MEC 8 and PD 8 and 9. We spent $14 million on that, and the remaining $40 million is to pay for the upgrade of the pipeline.
The new pipeline. Yeah.
Yes.
Which is projected to happen when?
The pipeline, the $40 million is to be done once the Ukudu plant is online. When it's commissioned, then we'll
So when do you project that bid to go on?
No, that's part of the Ukudu contract. Yeah. So it's
But it's
yeah.
our funds, right? It's not,
No, yeah, it's our funds.
it's not capital money.
Oh, no, it's another account with the bank to
So I'm
borrow.
gonna ask the question, what would it take for us to say we need this money to buy?
Unfortunately, that fund, when we
It's the
did
same.
part of the agreement,
Between,
us and Kepco, that fund has been already restricted, and we had a security agreement on it.
Part of the financing. Next. Okay, so again, this is just going through the scenarios that I showed earlier, right? The 20 cents, the different scenario. Okay, next. So that's kind of where we are, and we're in a rock and a hard place. So I do have a recommendation that for your consideration, for your evaluation, perhaps that we can. I know it's a lot of information in one time. If you think about it, and Tuesday we can decide on it. But this is a recommendation that I want to put forward in consideration of all this different the dire situation that our utility, including the world utilities, really are in now because of this again the world situation. No, yeah. So again, this is hot off the press this morning, so it's not in your board books yet and stuff. So again, okay, May 19, LEAG adjustment recommendation, and again, next.
John, when we made the last adjustment in the VIA, did our consumption go down? Are people actually starting to conserve, and is there a correlation between that?
There's always some correlation, but
Can you guys, because if we go up again one more time, I just wonder what is going to be the
Yes. For
point where they say it's enough,
Yeah.
consumption.
yes. Yes. So our base revenue for May dropped almost like $800,000.
And what does that equate to?
I have to-
Residential side,
Yeah, I have to do that.
because it's the residential that's going to fill it the most.
Yes.
For Tuesday,
I will
John,
have a ready number ready by Tuesday.
or give us an update on,
Yep.
by email,
Yes.
okay?
So-
So we can get ready for
So
Tuesday.
when do we have to buy the next ship? Of fuel?
right now we delivery in April, so May, I think in early June,
So 20 million,
not 30-some million.
30-some
million for
Yeah.
that, and then when do we got to get the next one?
Again, about a month and a half in between.
45 days?
45.
Yeah, yeah. And so this LEAG already factors in when we're gonna get and the type of fuel, because now we're buying low sulfur RFO and then just a lot of ultra low sulfur diesel because the PD kicks in. No? So this is what I showed you earlier, which is again going immediately from the point 0.209 to 29 cents. No, next. This is a three-step process. No, three-step process to the effective July 1st. Instead of going from 20 cents to 29 cents on July 1st, like on August 1st, we begin the process on July 1st and go from 20.209 cents a kilowatt hour to 20.24 in July to 0.27 in September, 2 months later, and then get up to the 0.296 by November. And again, if world events change, you can always, make an adjustment, or your recovery is going to be quicker. So then the next LEAG should be in a better situation. By doing that, if you notice here, the other recovery will actually again continue to June 30 at 30 and be 33 million. In July to August period, by having the first increase, you'll drop to 31, but again, we'll increase to 34 because then we're going to start burning the diesel fuel, more expensive. However, when we do get to the 29 cents, it'll drop our under recovery by January 31st next year to 25 million. Instead of the targeted 20, let's just shoot for 25 at least now, no? Because again, of the uncertainty of all of this. Next. And again, this is the cash flow I showed you earlier. Nothing's changed here. Next. So here's why I'm recommending this, no? Customers experiencing high gasoline prices coupled with high inflation, right? All over the world, prices of everything start rise 9%. Yeah, I believe is the latest number. The period June to November is the highest electricity consumption for our customers here. Again, higher temperatures result in naturally increased air conditioning load. Reliable energy is essential for the community, most especially during this period. We have to have energy in very hot periods of time, no? Fuel shipments are now costing over $30 million, resulting in cash flow strains, no? For us. We have used substantial reserves to assist customers during COVID pandemic, but need to begin improving our cash flow because again of the higher shipments of oil. No, there's little indication that fuel oil prices will be reversing during this period because of higher global demand coupled with reduced supply due to the Ukraine, because a lot of countries and sanctions, they're weaning off Russian oil, no? So all of this is again impacting the fuel prices, and there's no real certainty. I don't see a trend that, or I don't see in my readings that it's going to be reversing soon. I hope it does, but again, that's not what I see right now. So my recommendation is that again to petition, subject to your approval, petition the PUC for authorization to implement the following. A three-step increase, as I had shown you earlier, going from 24 cents. Oh, I'm sorry, I highlighted this and I didn't even read it. An increase from the current LEAC of 20 to 29, coupled with increased consumption during this LEAC period, is a huge burden on our customers, no? There's no doubt about that. So we're recommending a three-step increase, 24 cents to 24 cents beginning July 1st, to 27 cents beginning September, and to 29.6 cents beginning November 1st. Also, authorization to withdraw as necessary up to $10 million from the self-insurance fund, which currently has gone from 9 million to about close to 12 million. It has grown since the last time that we had withdrew the first 10 million. And the reason I asked that is I could see John, our CFO, looking all around trying to make sure we get the we have which cash source are we going to use for the next shipment. We're pushing to collect as much as possible. So we need to give the CFO the tools to be able to make adjustment as necessary by giving him that extra cushion of money that he can pull in or pull out as necessary during this period of time. Of course, when it is recovered, you'll go back into the self-insurance fund as per the restriction requirement. So again, Mr. Chair, this is what I leave with the Commission for your review and thoughts, and for a decision in Tuesday's CCU meeting. And I'm open to any other questions you may have. No?
Yeah. I think, John, you've given us a lot of information. The problem is, as this price goes up, you're going to have people conserve even more. And I'm wondering what's going to happen to the tourism market that we're hoping to come back, and how that's going to affect their pricing. Because right now, what's the, John, Kim, what does it look like for the hotels and stuff? Where they were before the pandemic and where they are now?
Yes, during the pandemic, the consumption of the hotel was down by 8%. Last month or so, they've been rising, but they're not as high as pre-pandemic. I mean, before the pandemic, but they've been catching up.
So there'll be some reduction, but I think people are still going to need the energy, right? Unfortunately, the reason why we recommend this and also recommend the access to the self-insurance fund is that, cash flow is becoming real tight, and therefore, even if they drop, even if we went to 29, they drop, we still need to have to find access to cash, right? And so the combination of the two provides us the assurance that we can continue to buy oil, no?
Yeah.
So,
Commissioner
John,
Taco.
on your monthly meetings with the governor, have there been any further discussions on any of these federal funds that might be available? Right now, the administration's running a program called Program in Salapi, where they're assisting people with their fuel expenses to get to and from work. This is a fuel-related issue. It impacts, more people rather than those who drive that are going home. Are there any opportunities there? Have we checked that?
I haven't had the opportunity to discuss that with the governor yet, and I can pursue that, and I'll ask before next week's meeting, no? Because again, I think our last meeting was in April or so, and because I had to reset the meeting here in June, and so we just set May, so we just reset our next monthly meeting until July. But I will reach out and see.
Yeah, I'd encourage you to talk to her, because it's the same. It's the same concept that they already have started a program for. They realize the impact of fuel to those that are driving to and from work, or for their daily lives. This is the same type of scenario, and I'd be curious to know if there's any opportunities to help at least reduce the amount of LEAC that we increase it by getting some.
Okay, so I will reach out between now and Tuesday and see if there's any opportunity there. No? I'll report back.
Okay.
Thank you, Mr. Chair.
And that's also, this is also going to have an impact on our other company, GWA, because
That's correct.
they're your biggest consumer of electricity in the government side.
Yep.
They're,
The military is the first, and GWA,
Yeah.
and then one
DOE.
DOE, and all the others.
So this is something that would have to happen relatively quickly, unless we recess our Tuesday meeting, without making a decision on this, because we need to make a decision by Tuesday.
Yes, because we're, and again, I'm looking for July 1st, because it's not, I know the PUC agenda is already set for May, although they could address it, but, I think even the community needs to be able to adjust, no?
they'll address
So
it
that's
in
why
July.
I'm looking at July 1st, no? So that means they can address this in the June meeting of them, so, and then making that adjustment July, then September, just like we did the last time, every 2 months, an increase, no? So we're trying to step it in.
Okay.
Because again, and then towards the last part of if you notice in November, the consumption will start going down for the consumers because it gets cooler. That's when the higher rate comes in. So, there'll be some buffering effects from this plan, no?
Okay.
Okay, I
Anything
have
else,
nothing in this.
Any other questions?
Any more?
Okay, move on to your report. I
Okay,
guess.
so the last thing I will go through, Mr. Chair, is the CABRS capacity situation. In the GM report, of course, I'll let you review it, and then if you have any questions, you can get back. But just some update on that one. We did have a public hearing on the land lease agreement for the Okudu plan, and so it appears that it's on the agenda as a potential for the May, and hopefully I asked the legislature to pass that in May, so then we can now clear the books with the financial lenders for KEPCO, and they can proceed forward. No? So I'll just go through the
System vulnerability,
to the capacity scenario.
106.
Sorry, Mr. Chair, we're not short of information.
Yeah, this
Here we go. Capacity. If you recall, we had a load shedding incident about a week and a half ago, and again, part of that is we've all been saying the PD unit was down. One unit was down for conversion, and whenever you have a second unit go down, you get into a scenario where you only have about 240 megawatts because 2 units were down. The projected peak for this period of time is about 255, and I'll show you it's not every day there's that 255 as potential, no? And so for that period, for that day though, we had to load shed maybe close to 10 megawatts or so, and so that's what happened that week and a half ago. The peak for this month last year, 258, no? So I think it'd be close to. So what I did, here's 2021, all the way from June 1st to November, the period that I mentioned. But so you can see everything above the red line is the vulnerability of when we have two base loads that are down, no? So it's about 15% of the time. So again, it's only when it's down, and if it is, it's about which is 15% of the period of time during the year that these peaks get up to be about 245 or more. No, next. Again, this is the breakdown of the units. We are making the repairs. Cabras 1 did come back, but it's at 40 megawatts now, and we're going to have to bring her down again for some additional tuning. Cabras 2 last week, right after Cabras 1 came on the line, had a boiler tube leak. So it's been down since last week, and we're gonna do some work on her until probably come on maybe Sunday or Monday this week. But we're fine because what happened was PD number 8, which was soon scheduled to come back until May 22nd, came back yesterday, no, Tuesday. So therefore, today we have 282 megawatts, not 240. So we're fine. We've been serving the load and anticipate that we can do that moving forward. Get Cabras 2 up. We're going to be at a higher capacity than before, so that would help increase or reduce our vulnerability. Take the other one down, fix it for about 5 to 7 days, bring it up. Keep doing that and keep improving the limitations that we have in the system, because when your two base loads are down, you hold everything and keep the line, right? So again, next. So when we talk about vulnerability over this period, this is all the work that we have to do between now and November. We have to convert PD8. That's the time is out, and it was scheduled, and that's completed. No, we had the tube leak last week, and we hope to bring this up by. We extended this outage a few more days to do some additional work. So probably Monday next week, Cabras number 1, we're going to bring it down, just fix the air preheater, and then bring it back up. And then in June, we're going to do the PD8, bring it back up on ultra low sulfur. Then right after that, we're going to do number 9 and bring it up in September. And then the major overhaul for Cabras number 2 that has been approved by the CCU and the PUC for about $4 to $5 million this September, but however, we're moving it to October now, which is actually better for less vulnerability and gives everybody time to get the team players here. So again, this is the schedule for outages, not outages, for not customer outages, but for base load outage. Next. We're looking again at all the different things, how we can have additional reserve to be used as necessary. We do have our standby generators, which we used actually the other day, the day after, on Thursday, I believe, and we avoided having to call out anybody. We transferred all our generators in the system, off the system, so therefore that capacity was available for somebody else. We'll be working with NAFAC to see if we can isolate loads or get some help from the RODI plan. I'm looking at discussing some interruptible load again with the airport authority, the port authority, maybe some of the hotels that have the standby generator. It's going to be just a few, not the whole entire ones that we used in 2015. But again, this will be again as a contingency. And as you have seen in our social media, in the newsletter, we continue to encourage our customers to really take, in different ways to conserve energy, including, getting your roof white to reflect the heat and all of that, right? So again, we're putting out a whole ton of recommendations. And then the other thing, last but not least, I am exploring batteries, no? We had a battery that we can charge in the early morning, then we can use it to shave the peak, no? And so I'm looking at some of the current contracts, or also, as you have seen in the integrated resource plan, a plan to look at a particular battery for use in the system to be able to balance the loading, no? So again, these are things that we're looking at, and I'll report to you as we move forward. Next. Way forward for Cabras, as I had noted already earlier, we're going from high sulfur to 1.9 to 0.2, and again, the targeted retirement is October 2024 if the Okudo comes on in April 2024.
John,
yes.
I have a question, real quick. When you get down to the 0.2 low sulfur RFO, are you still able to burn the used oil or waste oil?
Let me think. I think I have a slide on that, Mr. Chair. The next one. Waste oil.
Waste oil. So
Reliability of the Cabras units is crucial for us due to increased demand, again, and the delay of the commissioning of the plan, or Okudu. So we're developing a plan to stop waste oil by January 2020.
this coming January.
January 2020.
Okay.
The reason for that, Mr. is that now we're going to be burning 0.2% sulfur, which will actually improve the reliability of the plan, so we can't keep putting all kinds of stuff into there, no? Okay. And then that will at least assure us a more reliable system to get through our vulnerable period. However, I mean, as you can see, it's planned, right? So therefore, we will schedule a meeting with the waste oil companies, take a look at the alternatives, and try to address that with them, including if there's we have some recent experience of costing for transportation, all of that, so that we can have that discussion and try and find a solution by the January 23rd deadline. No, so again, we'll get that meeting rolling in July actually. For all the waste oil company. If not earlier, I think they can do it in June, even when I'm not here. Some guy named Benavente back in the 90s, no? try to help the whole island about waste oil, and so they established burning waste oil in the island as a short-term scenario. And here it is, 30-some plus years later.
We're still burning it.
Now he has to deal with the problem he established back in 1992.
Well, you solved a lot of problems for 30 years.
Yeah, and and what we're trying to say now is, okay, let's all work together and find
Somewhere else to go.
well, even that has come to us. Yeah, the whole island, and of course, and again, there are some solutions coming up, and again, these are the. You can burn it in the waste to energy plant. Yeah. I can get started on that subject if you will. Yeah, but I've thrown this scenario out there, right? Instead of the solid waste group doing a waste to energy plan as part of our renewables program, because waste to energy is a renewable. Is considered a renewable energy. So instead of them burning this and then trying to sell us power at always a price which has never been acceptable, because they try to subsidize that, I'm saying as part of our bid for renewable energy, we'll let people bid on the waste to energy, utilizing the land, what limited land is necessary down there. And then we, GPA, could, and again, this is subject to your approval today, we could buy the waste, and then utilize it in the plan, and then what energy it produces goes now out as a benefit to the ratepayers. So there's savings all around, less land to be used, a more sustainable energy load, because now we can use that for any time of the day, because that's like a base load machine, and things like that. So there are some solutions to this, if we look and again, as part of the air, nothing is going to be permitted into the air unless US EPA approves that, and that has been, that has been done. And so again, you can have that as part of that process. So again, it could be tweaked from what I'm saying, but it really is, it generates about 3 to 4% of our energy.
Especially with the used tires.
Yeah.
That the BTUs associated with the rubber is, but I mean the scrubbing technology that's needed to, capture the emissions. That's still pretty.
For
Technology
perhaps
exists
used tires, right? But for the other waste, I think
We have wood waste, right? Wood waste, like pallets. We shred thousands of cubic yards of pallets right now, and there's really no outbound market.
Yeah, we can convert that to energy. Yeah,
But
we can burn the waste oil. Like you're saying, the tire may need a special. I have to look into that, But all the other type of waste.
Well, John, it's something we encourage you to work on.
Okay.
It's going to be an educational process
Okay.
for our leadership as well as for the community.
Okay.
And I think one of the things I would say is that where there seems to be some person or some entity out there that thinks they have a current contract, that's not going to work. You have to start it with a clean sheet of paper, so you can build the educational process for our political leadership and the people. Okay, and start with a clean thing so that there's no preconceived whatever they wanted to do. Anyway,
Okay.
good luck.
We'll keep that in mind. But again, as
The only
part
other
of
thing,
our
John, is on hold on a second. Let me get
Oh.
back. On page 108, real quick.
yeah.
On page 108, if you can go there, you're unfirmed, your 2 batteries, again, your Telefofo, your Dandan Solar, the Manilo, you need to update that so that you can include, it's 0 right now. So, you can include that into your potential.
Right.
Now, and then, you don't have the clear megawatts on the other side of this because it's intermittent, it's not firm.
Right. Correct.
but maybe give an idea of what you believe that can contribute.
That would be 60 by June 18.
Yeah, but
Yep.
I mean, you gotta update the schedule,
Okay.
the page here.
Okay.
Okay?
And by the way, Mr. Chair, we did use a press release concerning the benefits of
Yeah,
the team,
I
the
saw
mayor.
that.
You saw that,
That
so
our contract
yes, so they'll be
decided to-
applying, and then we will start implementing those benefits. So,
Good.
that's all I have today,
Okay.
Mr. Chair,
Okay.
until Tuesday for any other questions you may have.
Okay.
Okay.
Any further questions? Any thoughts, commissioners? No?
Nope.
Sure, go ahead.
Where's that slide where it shows the pictures of the solar energy?
Oh, I think they have a very brief one. I don't think they yeah, hold on.
Anyway, just, where it says capital 60 megawatts.
Yes.
That one, the last, the very bottom.
Yeah, on the very
Yep.
bottom.
Yeah, where it says, if we're up to 60, then it would be able to service 14,000 residents.
Now, the way it works is that
Yeah,
for the whole, it'll be 60 and one time 30, right? So it fluctuates, right? So the total energy in 1 year that it generates, because what they call is the load factor of this type of solar is about 20%. So if you take 60 times 8760 hours per year times 20%, you generate about that much energy. And under the contract, the minimum for them to generate is 141 million kilowatt hours. No, so if the average residential consumer, that's in 1 year, right? They generate that. So the average residential consumer uses about about 1,000 kilowatts hours per month, eh? So then you're looking at, I think maybe that's 10,000, but then 10 to 1,000 equivalent to what they consume over that period of time. Yeah.
so you have, I think, for, to help, is it a test or? Okay. Okay, real,
So yeah, so it doesn't mean that right away it's going to directly to the home, but based on that, what they consume the whole year, this one is going to generate the equivalent of that.
okay.
Okay.
Motion to adjourn? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Commissioners.